Oh, those nails are looking good. I like it a lot. Now cover it up with dirt, all of it. Hi guys, my name is Varadante, and welcome back to the manifestation number 1 horror game character creation process. So we continue exactly from where we left off in the previous episode with this finished sculpt. Now I'll just go ahead and bake that normal map. I forgot to make a UV map. I should do that, that's for sure. So let's see, is everything a spiral? No, it's all right. I wonder, like, I need to make a decision. I did this extra thing, extra length, like the second elbow is over there. And I don't think I need all of that. I would probably go with maybe up to down here. And from here, I will then later take care of sort of blending it into that repeating elbow pattern of the infinite arm. And yeah, if this is the first video you're watching on all of this, this is a horror character that is just a giant arm, like, well, I think you can see that, but also it's an infinite arm with constantly repeating elbows over and over again, and is crawling out of the ground. And that's what we're gonna be texturing today. Okay, I'm gonna cut here as well. Funny how I was like super upset about having to do UVs manually. And I mean, to an extent, I still am, but I can see how this is really just a part of modeling. Like, you prepare polygons to put your textures on. That's what 3D graphics are about. And mapping how exactly that texture will be aligned on the surface is obviously a continuation of that. Okay, I think we're good with the seams. Now let's go ahead and put them on the surface. Unwrap. Well, that's not good. But yeah, as I said, you do appreciate UV mapping as a continuation of modeling. But I mean, I didn't really model this, I sculpted this thing, and then Quad Remesher did the retopology for me, so really, it was quite automated. And you would say, hey, you need to take a lot of, you know, actual conscious decisions about how to put polygons together and everything. Quad Remesher is doing just fine. So some kind of quad UV mapper would be great. I'm gonna solve it. It will be the best UV map in the world. Okay. I'll use like first level of subdivision, I guess. Considering this is the whole thing. It's just the arm. I think it's what do I have here? Like 58,000 polygons. Is it on the selected or including the little guy here? Because I don't need the guy. Yeah, that was with the guy. Yeah, okay, let's say it's about 18,000 polygons. I think we can handle it, right? I'll be working on this. I think texturing on this one step of subdivision is a way better idea, because I'll be able to, you know, just actually paint on a smoother surface. Okay, everything selected. That's it, you're already done? I mean, that's why I like multi-resolution, right? Yeah, that's not looking great. I mean, that's just a seam. That's what they look like. Okay, what does it look like in the actual render? Are we? I don't think I ever actually looked at my checkerboard texture. I mean, it's looking pretty hot. Yeah, the resolution distribution is pretty much the way I want it to be. This is a bit too big. Wow, it looks unusually spotty. Or is it fine? Like, it's probably fine. Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool downgrade of detail like this. Nice. Alright, so we got our normal map. Some polygons may be a bit choppy at the tips of the fingers there. That's to be expected because the shape is really not the way the polygons are supposed to go, so it will be a bit wonky. I wonder, like, if this is like my resulting mesh pretty much now, right? So I projected it, and I have this object. Does it make any sense to now tweak the polygons a little bit to clean up the surface? Because I can't really do that while I'm inside of the multi-res. If I change something on the lower resolution, then I'll just change the sculpt on the higher level, like mess it up in all kinds of ways. And here I'll just apply this multi-res, and this is now our just this mesh with this normal map and these polygons, and nothing else is happening on it. And so I'm having some hiccups here with the shape. If I just smooth it out. Okay, like this is a bit odd looking because it was trying to make the round surface, like when you project on a wonky shape, it will compensate for that with the normal map. But like I don't need these fingertips to be perfect if we talk about specifically this model and everything. Pinky is looking great without any fixing. Okay, so that kind of worked. Even if I need to like get rid of these wobbles, I think I can kind of pull it off in Substance a little bit. So let's go ahead and transfer things there. I export the mesh and I'll export the normal map. Import baked maps right here during the creation of the project. Don't need metallic, probably don't need specular. So yeah, let's just add that normal map right here. You're gonna actually use it. There it is, looking good. Oh, cool. The nails actually even look like they stick out as 3D shapes when you look at them at this angle. That's kind of cool. Okay, I'm gonna start with like a fill layer. I'm so using some kind of cavity map today. Scan human simple. Let's go with that. Whoa. I mean, it's too big. Let's rescale it, I guess. Am I actually supposed to do it like this? Shouldn't there be like a master mapping control? Wow, that is bad looking. Something happened very poorly with the UV map then, right? It's like in here or something, it's too stretched. Yeah, that's the place right there. It's so tiny. Yeah, no, I'm redoing that UV map for sure. Not sure how though. Why didn't it just unwrap it normally? It's pretty basic cylinder. I guess it shouldn't be basic. It really increases its radius here. Yeah, you're no good. So I think like the best way to solve a problem with like having very strong stretching somewhere is probably adding a seam. Because seams, I really don't see them as that much of an issue lately. A lot bigger issue is not having proper surface dedicated to things. So is this gonna be any better? Still, this thing is the most compressed, no matter what I do. I don't care, I'm adding this seam. You gotta give it surface. Looks much better this time. It's like oddly sensitive to this thing, like this model. I feel like I need to make it like 200 to really see if there's some kind of stretching going on. Like, this is definitely stretching in here. This is how you look at this stuff. Yeah, it's all over the place. Should I maybe try... There's this, like, other type of unwrapping. Like, one of them is, like, angle-based in here. Is angle-based gonna be better? Is it gonna be more based? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. What if I just get rid of all the stretchings with as much of these freaking seams as it takes? Like any kind of folding of the surface, I'll just put a seam in there. Because all of these guys, they have this... Okay, this one is like totally fine for some reason, but others like really stretch. I don't care, I'm gonna put it like this as well, because what if, when it will be the only one, it will also shrink it. So there was something wonky going on here, I'm gonna cut it just like this. An extra island, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't want the stretches. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this angle-based thing. Maybe it is actually better to avoid stretching. Let's rebake. Now I'm back to Substance. I'm guessing this is pretty good now. know what? I'm hating the resolution of all of this. Like, obviously, these pixels are really big. Like, this is a very big creature, so each finger is kind of like a face. And this will be definitely noticeable, you know, that it's that fuzzy. And I mean, this is a 4K texture, and I can't even really create like a project bigger than 4K in here in Substance. Like, maybe I can, but in like Unreal Engine presets, 4K is maximum. So I feel like it's not a good idea to go higher than 4K per texture. I think what I need to do is to cut my arm a lot sooner. Like in here. And just texture the hand, almost. We are now doing a little bit of an operation. But what's interesting, like, I want to cut the arm, right? I want to cut it off pretty short, actually, because it's all about the resolution. This part's resolution is not as important. I want to have the hand of really high quality. And this will be its own thing. It will have quite enough of surface on its own, which will be pretty even, but with slightly more attention to the actual elbow wrinkles, I think. But in here, we need a lot. What we can't do right now is cut the arm right away. Right now, I'll be using this UV map I created, but instead of baking this 4K normal map, I'll be baking an 8K normal map. What's 8K like? 8096 or something? 8192. Now we do bake. Yes. Alright, seems like it worked. And it's like sharp enough, I suppose. What if I like paint on it? It's now kind of a decent resolution, right? Yeah, well, that's at least something. So I'm gonna duplicate this and proceed with my operation. Apply. Yeah, I'm guessing like this. So I'm gonna separate this. Separate. Selection. Because now we can do whatever the hell we want. So yeah, it's actually there. Perfectly in place. So we baked the 8K normal map. Then we cut the thing. Now what we need to do is rebake. You see, like, we have this 8K texture, but we're only using these smaller parts of it. We need to create a new UV map where these islands of the actual hand will be using the entire rectangle of the UV map. So for that, I'm going in this like data properties, whatever, and in here, UV maps, and I create a second one and hit this button, and I assume now this is like the second one is just the same, I hope. Okay, at this point, this will do. At the very least, it keeps everything at decent resolution, like no jumps of resolution between islands. And if I go back here, this is the old UV map, and this is the new UV map. Cool. Now, we go and bake stuff. I wonder if default baking can pull this thing off, baking from one UV map to another UV map. Hooray! Why is it looking so weird? And it's still baked onto the old texture. Okay, hell with that. I'm baking with a plugin. So simple bake, right? Now this should be just connected as normal. So prefer that UV map called simple bake. And just bake. Foreground bake in progress. Oh, it did it. It did it, and it looks like it's covering the whole thing. Okay, cool. And this is now like really sharp texture and everything. Actually, all 4K resolution dedicated to just the hand. Now this is going to Substance. Yeah, you see 4K is maximum here. Perfect. Now this is a true boss modeling, boss texture. Well, not boss modeling. With boss modeling, I would take better care of topology for the fingernails. Now we need to bake everything else, and after that, I'll paint in those nails again to start our process. Now this is a way better deal with the resolution. You know what? Let's import the rest of the arm now. We'll also need to bake that 8K normal map part of an arm onto its own 4K normal map and import it also here, so it would be right next here as a separate object with a separate material and everything. We should totally do that. Will it be easier to texture it? Probably not. It actually won't be easier to texture it, right? Because you can't paint on two materials with one brush stroke. Ever. I gotta give it a try still. Boom. Now that's looking correct. Fits like a glove. Cool. All of this stuff, I always kind of like knew about it. You know how you can address things. If it would be like CGI movie kind of thing, I would go with those UV tiles. What are they called? UDIM, right? But I don't think they use those in games really. They probably do, but like, could I actually use like one UV texture for this and then another for this? Like actually a different UV map. And so Blender and Substance Painter and then Unreal Engine would all actually support it with no problems? I did see some mentionings about UDIMs in here, but if it's possible, it would be cool to have that in mind, but I would probably still go this way with the Daddy Long Arms because we still need to make him modular, so why not start right away? Yeah, back to the nails, I guess. Now, I'll do one thing though. Let's replace that normal map or something. Yeah, looking good and clean. Alright, now let's pick a more appropriate color. Now I'll paint around all kinds of things, make like darker nails closer to the core and everything, and make the skin around the nails also darker and maybe with redness, and add redness on all kinds of places, all of that. But at first I wanted to add that generator. So I believe I should add it as a mask to like a black mask, or let's say actually use like the smart dirt and make it of that. Oh my god, that's looking cool. So this is the cavity map plus a bunch of different noise textures, I suppose. Looking sick. Probably should cover everything up with this. Yeah, that looks pretty much like an arm that just climbed out of the soil. Hopefully it can kind of continue itself. It cannot. Well, that's a shame. Well, I guess the only thing I can do here right now is to just ignore it, like the seam part, and I'll take care of it later somewhere, somehow. I don't know how. So, grunge amount, grunge scale. Which one's bigger, which one's smaller? Oh, I should look at it at this direction. Oh, that's looking gross. Let's keep it something like this, or what was the default for? Okay. Dirt level. That's specifically how much of the cavity, or not only, everything. And dirt contrast is the contrast between the cavity and the rest of the surface. I don't want it to go too much into cavities, because it was a bit over the top before. This is looking way better. And I can also paint on top, adding all the same stuff. So we should definitely replace the normal again. Yeah, you're doing it, right? Yeah. And we raise the height. Yeah, you're doing it. Only you're overly sharp or something. Anyway, let's throw some dirt around, I guess, in this little paint addition in this layer with a very different brush. Whoa, interesting. So you can like apply some kind of blur filter on top of everything, and it's like a weird one. Whoa, like a little bit of that is looking cool. I mean, not cool enough to keep it, but So yes, creating like some kind of scales. That is dope. Bevel. Oh, it's all not immune to seams, unfortunately. Whoa. Oh my god. Direct blur. Also in UVs, like in different directions, in different islands. So all of this you kind of use like a base, and then you also mask it out, I guess, use it somewhere locally or something like that. I mean, it makes sense. What's the point in just covering everything in a motion blur like that? I was kind of excited about these filters because I thought maybe blur can like literally blur the seams away, but no. Alright, well, it started finally going pretty well, and I'm about to have to go to sleep. Sucks, have to do that every day. But I found it interesting to use, like, for the redness of the skin, to actually use, like, violet. I'm not sure if it really makes sense for, like, for instance, some kind of corpsey flesh. But I just like the way it looks here, and it's, maybe somewhat unique. Also covering the veins with this color, pretty dope. Oh, those nails are looking good. I like it a lot. Now cover it up with dirt, all of it. So, I don't know if I'll add any extra something to all of this, but generally we'll need to do the rest of the arm, which won't be a lot of work, I think. A nice little arm crawling out of the thing. Good stuff. Oh, cool, the environment called graveyard. Wow, the lighting works very oddly with a long shape, maybe? Whoa. Yeah, so it doesn't work very well with this very long shape of the object, apparently. The lighting is very odd. Alright, so I guess it'll be it for now. I might add like fingerprint textures later to it. I mean, let's have a look. Add fill. So pretty much that's how you do it, right? We have like height and we're like finger something. Finger. And here's a bunch of it. So I would maybe be able to somehow do a collage, not to go too crazy about it. Well, these are like drops of paint left with a finger. That's not the same. Oh, there you go. But like, it'll be pretty hard to do something with it really, like just like that. Oh yeah, photorealism achieved. Yeah, I guess not this way. I guess I should just paint the mask. Oh, so the material has this texture while my brush has an alpha. And it all works. I mean, a bit oddly, that doesn't strike me too much like a fingerprint. I mean, as a base, my favorite word when I do something absolutely permanently. But yeah, it's definitely giving like the look. Whoa, what is that? Is that a part of this fingerprint thing? You can like distort it a little bit? What is this? What's a seed? Oh, so it would look a bit different. I mean, it's something. I believe this is an actual thumb fingerprint. The only thing is, I feel like using a smaller scale these things, mostly because like I can't really pull off drawing a legit full map of fingerprints all over this arm. And secondly, it kind of makes it look like a big arm if I do it this way. So, you know, like these, well, many of them don't really look like a fingerprint, but sometimes they align well and they look like a very like small scale fingerprints, which is something I enjoy. And I feel like it's a bit easier to hide their nonsensical pattern if they're like small like this. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone before it looks even worse. So yeah, without a dirt, it looks like this, and you know, kind of looks like a fingerprint. I tried to make sure that at least the pattern of the fingerprint is aligned to the nail, because I noticed if you put a fingerprint that would have like textures going like this, it looks super wrong. Like that's never happening apparently. It's one of the rules of the fingerprint. They always sort of end up aligned like this to the nail, not going towards it like that. Oh, this is looking wrong, so I'm gonna fix this here. I forgot to turn on nails, by the way. Something like that. So yeah, it is definitely giving that necessary texture when the lighting is high contrast enough. Yeah, like all over the place. And then we cover it up with the dirt, so it's fine. That's the plan. I mean, it's not that bad, especially considering that this is not an actually normal arm. This kind of texturing is always super hard to me, like when you need to like kind of really make sense out of just using actual photos or something. Alright, so I guess this is it. I didn't expect it, but I think I finished this arm. I'll import these textures to Blender and do some cool renders with it. You'll see them in a thumbnail for this video, I guess. But also I'll post a few on my Patreon page for the game tier patrons that support the development. If you guys want to be a part of that and be in the final credits of this future game, the link to my Patreon page is at the end of this video or in the video description. You can become my patron and support the development of the game. But yeah, tell me guys what you think about the daddy long arms. I think like really it's just an arm with slightly weird proportions. The main thing will be about making it infinite and how it will move. Weird gestures and shakiness and, you know, reacting to things and twisting that index finger. All of that, you know, it will be very interesting to see how expressive this can get. But we sure have a pretty good base to work with in all of those future stages. But for now, this is it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oh yeah, almost forgot about adding a little hole brush creases to increase the effect of my sculpt. Oh yeah, this is good. Good stuff. This is the longest post-Bye Guys process I've ever done. I should never touch this whole brush, it's too addictive.